Hey, what is up, everybody? So today is a fantastic day. I finally get to start my comic book YouTube channel, which I've been wanting to do for a while now, but I just finally got all the stuff to actually, start it. So first we're gonna start with Civil War. Civil War by far is the most important story in all of Marvel because for one, it is huge. It is ridiculous how big this story is. Like there's something like close to like 100 issues where with like including all like the tie-ins and whatnot. Like a little bit after Civil War, like the stuff that was happening before, like the lead up to Civil War, like the road to Civil War. It is ridiculously big. But two things that come out of this story, they both involve Tony Stark. One is the how the other heroes view him, and the trust that they have in him is all that's gonna be like tattered, like ridiculously shredded after this story's over with, because he's on some he's being weird this story. And two, the stuff that he's willing to engage in to get what he needs to get done. Those are the like two main things, like, and that carries over until Marvel today. Like that is like this is like the quintessential example of what Tony Stark is. The entire, like, that, his entire personality. This is what he is basically. So we're actually gonna start out with Peter Parker. He's actually, him and Mary Jane, they're sleeping, they just got done doing a damn thing, that kind of stuff. And he's actually contacted by Tony Stark through like this little like device that he has. I'm not too sure. It's like a little like a communication device. And he's like talking to him through there. He's like, hey yo, Peter, can you come meet me at the lab for a minute? Well, Peter's like, oh, okay man, yeah, whatever, I'll come meet you. So he goes to the lab and he meets Tony Stark. And Tony Stark is actually in the middle of creating something for Peter. And Peter's like, what's this? He's like, and Tony Stark's like, oh, it's a suit for you. And Peter's like, oh, I'm good. I have my old little cloth suit. And Tony's like, oh well, yeah, but upgrades ain't never too bad for nobody. So Peter, he dodges a little bit, but then eventually he's like, okay, yeah, I'll just come in. I'll try it out, whatever. So he tries out the suit, the Iron Spider armor. That's the suit that he's making. Well, actually, it's like the first version of it. There's like two different versions, I think. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure he was making the second one while he was doing it. The second one is probably the one that he was working on when Peter got there. I'll say that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah. So Peter Parker, he actually takes the Iron Spider armor and he goes out. And when he goes out, there's actually a high speed chase, and he engages in it. Tries to stop the car. This part right here is just to to highlight like some of the features that this suit has. Like he jumps off the building, he flies down to the car, rips off the roof of the car, he looks in, but it's weird, like he rips off the roof of the car, but he's still using like heat vision. I don't know, it was weird. He's literally looking at them, but he still needed heat vision for some reason. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, he like webs up the steering wheel and he like drifts the car into a wall, like slams into the side of the wall. And after the criminals are subdued, one of them actually grabs the gun from one of the officers, and he like shoots at Peter with it. And like the bullet, it doesn't actually like kill him. It like bounces off the suit, so it's like a bulletproof, heat vision, flying suit, but it, the Iron Spider armor, And eventually he comes back to Tony Stark, him and MJ, and they're like talking. Now this part right here is the start of where Tony Stark starts to be all like get into some shady tactics and stuff like that. So he's talking to Peter, and he's like, all right, Peter, I can't tell you what's gonna happen. Some stuff is gonna go down, but I need you to be on my side for this. And Peter, he's kind of like questioning it, but not really. But but Tony Stark, he starts like making like he starts trying to like goad Peter, but like basically. And Peter's like, okay, so you made me a suit. You've been helping out me, MJ, and Aunt May, for a bit now. So I feel like I owe you, like that kind of thing. Like he doesn't say that he wants to, but he just feels like he has to, like that kind of thing. Because Peter's an honorable man. So him being like the man that he is, he's gonna like he's gonna keep the respect that he had for Tony Stark. He's not gonna be like, okay, I don't know, you're not telling me nothing, so I can't really, that kind of thing. That's what I would have did. Like, Tony Stark, you gotta tell me some stuff, bro. I need answers, But okay, so after he agrees to be on Tony's side for this, Tony Stark actually gives him like a piece of paper where they both have to make their way to Washington D.C. They have to go to Washington D.C., meet with the senators, and after that, they make it to their meeting, And the senators, they're basically talking about the Superhero Registration Act. Oh yeah, he showed Peter this on the plane. I just I wasn't thinking about it. He showed Peter this on the plane. The Superhero Registration Act, basically all heroes and villains. Yeah, villains too, which is I don't know what they would thought we're gonna go there. The villains too. They all have to unmask. They have to reveal their identities. But like, and Tony Stark, he's initially like trying to talk them out of it. But we'll see like later in the story where like that's not necessarily like what's going on. He tries to like talk them out of it, and they're just like, okay, so everyone has to register. Doctors have to register, taxi drivers, teachers, all that kind of stuff. So like, if something happens, they could be held responsible. Like they know who to contact, they know what happened, that kind of stuff. And they're basically saying like superheroes, since they're not like they're not actually like registered. They just like they're doing it of their own accord. They're not held responsible. People don't know who to contact to talk about the damages, the loss of life, that kind of stuff. And they make some somewhat sort of good points. They're not bad points, but then Peter steps up and he's like, okay, but heroes have to do what they have to do because that's just who they are. They weren't asked to get those powers, right? So they weren't asked to get them, but they have to use them since they have them because with great power comes great responsibility, that kind of thing, and the senators, they're just like, okay, but wouldn't it make more sense if they were registered? It'd make it easier for them. They could just actually do it lawfully. It's not, it's a legal way to do it. They don't have to worry about the government being on them and, being wanted, that kind of stuff. But eventually they just cut it and go to recess. They're just like, okay, let's go to recess, take a 10-minute recess, and then come back. So they come back, they just finish out the little meeting, and then when they leave, Tony Stark, he's like frantic. He's like rushing down the stairs, trying to get out of the way, and he's like, okay, everybody get out the way, gotta go. And like Peter's trying to like talk to him. He's like, hey, well, slow down, man, what's going on? And then eventually, Peter's spider sense goes off. His spider sense goes off. He's like, Tony, get down! And then a bullet just flies by, and they end up being attacked by the Titanium Man. The Titanium Man, I don't really care about him. He's some like old villain. I never really cared about him. His name's like Boris or something like that. He's whatever. I don't really care. But yeah, they're attacked by the Titanium Man. Now, them being attacked by the Titanium Man is it's not weird, but it's weird that it happened there. I'll say that it's weird that it happened there because when he's fighting Spider-Man dons his Iron Spider armor because it like goes visible, so he's like he had it on the whole time, but he turns on the Iron Spider armor and he starts fighting, and like the entire time he's like, okay, when Tony Stark is dead, there will be no one that can speak up for the heroes and whatnot. They won't have a figurehead, which they actually still will. They'll have a few of them actually. Peter Parker being one of them. Captain America. People like that. But yeah, he's saying that they will have no more figureheads, like people to like speak up for them. That kind of stuff. But then he eventually leaves after the cops shoot at him and Peter Parker. They just shoot at both of them. They didn't really care. They weren't like they assumed that Spider-Man was with them. Just showing like how the people see the heroes right now. That kind of thing. But he leaves, and they end up going back to the court session that they had. And Tony Stark, he's like saying, okay, yeah, see, that guy attacked me because he knew who I was. He knew I was Tony Stark. I mean, he knew that I was Iron Man, so he came and attacked me, which is like, that is like, that'll be like a common occurrence for heroes that do identify themselves, like that kind of thing. So, and then eventually, Spider-Man walks up. Well, not walks up. He like he's like hanging from the roof. He's like hanging up from the roof upside down. That the thing that he's always doing. And he's like talking to him, and he's like he made some really good points. He made some amazing points here. He said the problem with registration is there's always a regulation right after it, meaning they will be trying to tell the superheroes what they can and can't do. That contradicts the entirety of what a hero is. A hero just goes in and saves people like on their own accord, like not because they want to, because they feel like they have to. It's like a morality thing. Like they're in a position to do it, so why wouldn't they do it? Like that kind of thing. And if you're registered, I mean, if you're regulated, and they're telling you that you can't go and do something, because that's basically what's gonna happen. They'll be trying to tell them that they can't go and do something. They'll go off and do it. Then they'll be a fugitive. That kind of stuff. And he's basically saying that kind of stuff, but they won't. It won't go on the record because he won't identify himself. So like it's all disregarded. because he won't, go out and say, okay, hey, I'm Peter Parker, so and go on a record. So none of that stuff is all of that is disregarded. So eventually he ends up leaving. The court session's over with. Everyone ends up going home. Tony Stark and Peter Parker, they end up going back to New York. But before they go, they pick up back up with Titanium Man, the Titanium Man, and he is like in the woods. He's like in the woods, and he's waiting for something. And we see that not Tony Stark. We see Iron Man fly down. We see him fly down with like a case full of money, and he's like, "Thank you for your participation," and he like gives him the money. So it seems that Iron Man paid him to attack him on the steps of the at Washington D.C. I'm not too sure where they were, honestly, at Washington D.C. So this is just one of those shady things that he's had going on. So that's just like, that's not really, something new. So, all right, after the Titanium Man and Iron Man meet up, we end up picking up with Peter Parker. He's at home. He's sleeping on his couch. He's all tired of stuff. It's late at night, and a news alert comes on. To our viewing audience, we're just getting confirmation, but according to the AP, there's been a disaster in Stamford, Connecticut. Initial reports are indicating at least 600 dead and countless more have been badly wounded. According to authorities on the scene, a person responsible for all this devastation is Speedball. Whatever just happened just killed 600 people and badly wounded many more. This will be the kick. This will be the start of Civil War. That one action. I'm not gonna say what it is, but this is the start of it. So whenever we get to that part, this will be like what's going on, like where Tony Stark and Peter Parker have to meet up and handle the situation at. But that'll be. I'm gonna wrap this up. If you enjoyed the video, you want to see more content, subscribe, leave a like, and if you want like specific stories that you want me to do, like Secret Empire, Secret Wars, Fear Itself, like anything, honestly, leave a comment and we can get that going. But yeah, appreciate you watching the video. Thank you, and I will see y'all later.